All right, what are your thoughts, guys?
What do you mean by let us know what's going on inside that chamber?
They don't let you video the proceedings, and so they say, no, it's okay. You don't have to know.
But I mean, there are reporters in there. We know what the.
Yeah,
we always
I know, but why wouldn't there be? Why is a camera not allowed? So that Clarence Thomas can get a good night's sleep in there, and he doesn't get criticism for it.
Well, I think there should be cameras in there. There's a long tradition. There are no cameras allowed in federal court, as you know, and obviously that's a federal court. No, I'm just curious. Like, would that satisfy? Would that get us any closer to anything that we want? I don't know.
I think so, and here's why. They obviously don't want the cameras in there. It discomforts them, right?
Well, it's more than just the discomfort. I mean, when C-SPAN got cameras into the Congress, it did change the demeanor of the people that were elected. It could be argued that it changed it for the better, but there was a lot more showmanship, and there was a lot more of referring to or going into the well of the Congress to behave in a certain way so that people back home would know who you were and what you were voting on and what your posture was in a way that was different. And that's what the fear is. And I'm not associating myself with that fear, but the fear is that would change the demeanor of the justices.
So, Michael, that's an excellent point, and I understand that completely, but there is another side to it. So most people love to argue, and they're black and white. Oh, my side is 1,000% right and has all the good points, your side has no good points. I think that's a point really well taken. On the other side, if ever a body needed transparency, I think it is the Supreme Court. Because once they make a decision, whether it's Roe versus Wade or it's Citizens United, it affects the law of the land so deeply that I'd like to know every minutia of what happened in there.
And almost irreversibly.
Yes, and in the case of both of those, I mean, those are cases that have stood, obviously Roe versus Wade for decades, but not just Citizens United, but the line of cases that led to Citizens United that started back in Buckley v. Vallejo in 1976 for decades has corrupted our politics.
Yeah, and further to that, though, also, these people are appointed for life. So it's not, if you see how they're behaving, you can't do anything about it anyway. So once they're on screen.
I hear you, Michael, but I feel like...
Which supports your take on it, which is also probably mine.
I feel like they're like, they're going to get up in our business. Yeah, we're going to get up in your business, and we got every right to.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there should be cameras in courtrooms. I mean, the easiest example is, to Michael's point, was always the OJ case that Lance Ito spent most of that trial posturing for the cameras, and then when you got the civil trial with no cameras, all of a sudden they were cranking, they were moving, and it wasn't like. And again, it's just important, I think, to mention that it's not like the proceedings of the Supreme Court are in secret. They're not. They're just not covered by television cameras.
Well, my favorite thing is when Roberts began the proceedings again, he made that remark, but then he said, "We will now continue our tradition of having open court in the Supreme Court building," which I think is funny in light of the conversation.
Yes, there's a bit of an irony in that statement. And he's, of course, saying, hey, listen, we're letting you rabble into the building.
Right.
Don't abuse the privilege, right?
And also,
but he's got to realize that but you are also privileged. We let you onto that bench. Yeah. So remember, you're supposed to serve us.
Right.
So there is this kind of elitist, like, hey, we know what we're doing and we're smart, and don't look into the dark places, and just let us make the decisions. But that hasn't worked out that well for us. Yeah. The Supreme Court decisions, Buckley v. Vallejo, Bellotti, Citizens United, and McCutcheon, have destroyed the country, in my opinion. Destroyed it. And so, not in terms of economics, although they have, if you look at the wages in this country since 1978, they have flatlined, right? Productivity hasn't, it's gone great, but wages have flatlined. So, but in terms of our democracy, our politicians are, they are given bucketful of cash by the billionaires and the corporations, et cetera. And if you think that somebody who gets that same bucket full of cash listen to that guy as much as they listen to you, you're either insane or a Supreme Court justice.